Hello, my name is Mrunmay and I would like to talk about the dark side of creativity. Few psychological traits are as desirable as creativity, the ability to come up with ideas that are both novel and useful. Yet, it is also true that creativity has been associated with a wide range of counterproductive, rarely discussed qualities. First, research has established a link between creativity and negative moods. You don't have to be depressed to be creative, but it is true that there is some empirical backing for the stereotype that artists tend to be depressive or suffer from mood swings. On average, people who are very emotionally stable may be too happy to feel the need to create. After all, if the status quo is fine, why change it? Second, the very thinking patterns that define the creative process and help lead to original thinking can have a maladaptive side. For example, creativity requires the inability to suppress irrelevant thoughts and inappropriate ideas, and creative thinkers also tend to have poorer impulse control. Here we have two intellectuals that expose the dark side of creativity. The first one, Vincent Willem van Gogh. Vincent Willem van Gogh, born on 30th March 1853, was a Dutch painter known for various widely celebrated masterpieces, right from The Starry Night to The Almond Blossoms. Van Gogh showed his artistic brilliance capturing the beautiful essence of nature with aesthetic color schemes and peculiar strokes. His work is applauded and respected worldwide. Van Gogh's art became extensively popular after his death. His letters have been published, which made him a quintessential tortured artist in the popular imagination. Even though he was the creator of such beautiful art pieces, he was an emotionally unstable man as a result of many episodes he had to go through in his life. Each new episode left the artist confused, numb, and unable to work for days and sometimes weeks at a time. His art shouldn't be viewed as a product of his illness, but that it arose in spite of his condition. At the end of his life, he was diagnosed with a sporadic and unpredictable illness that changed his life fundamentally. The ear incident, where he cut off his left ear, was an onset of a series of depression, disappointment, and just a downward spiral for him. He wrestled with his illness and turned to his work as a lifeline to keep him from going under. His final painting before he shot himself was Tree Roots, which portrays angst and sadness. One can observe crooked roots and a vibrant color scheme, both directing towards suicide. Although vibrant colors are indicators of light and life, here the exact contrast of that interpretation is observed. Despite of such a dark life and unbroken solitude, he was an exceptional artist with an extraordinary vision. His talent and craziness have been well portrayed in his paintings. Van Gogh has been an inspiration to many artists. The second artist we will look at is Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf is recognized as one of the major figures of modern literature, is highly regarded both for her innovative fiction techniques and insightful contribution to literary criticism. One of England's most gifted authors, Woolf was quite artistic in the way she died. Virginia was born in a Victorian, well-educated and respected family. She was exposed to vast literature through the huge collection in her father's library. But her childhood came to an abrupt end in 1895 with the death of her mother and her first mental breakdown. Encouraged by her father, Woolf began writing professionally in 1900. Her father's death in 1905 caused another mental breakdown for Woolf, after which she moved to London. In 1912, she married Leonard Woolf, a writer and socialist political figure from the Bloomsbury Circle, whose stabilizing influence on Virginia is considered to have nurtured her literary career. Nevertheless, after completing her first novel, The Voyage Out, in 1915, she collapsed from mental exhaustion, and the ensuing breakdown, her most severe, lasted several years. It might be a little morbid and inhuman to consider a suicide note as a piece of literature, but Virginia Woolf's last letter was no less than one. On March 28, 1941, Woolf filled the pockets of her overcoat with stones and drowned herself in the river Ouse. Her body was found on April 18th. She was 59 years old, and the relapse of her clinical depression was too much for her to take this time. The beginning of the Second World War, the burning down of her house during the Blitz, and the cold reception to the biography that she had written for friend Roger Fry worsened her mental health. Her note to her husband Leonard read, "Dearest, I feel certain that I am going mad again. I feel we can't go through another of those terrible times, and I shan't recover this time. Everything has gone from me but the certainty of your goodness. I can't go on spoiling your life any longer. These are just two out of many examples of such intellectuals who have all exposed that creativity too has a dark side.